So in our country lately, or actually for a while, we've seen many like shootings happening, like Sandy Hook, Columbine, just shootings, a lot of shootings in general. And as the topic is very like controversial, as many people are either pro-gun or against guns in general, it's a big discussion in our country. So my quote is, guns don't kill people, people do. And I actually agree with this quote. And I'm going to use examples from my family, school shootings, and like the laws in general. So my first example is going to be my stepfather. So he's from the South, he's from Georgia, and his family was very like gun friendly. And as my family wasn't at all, when he moved out here to live with my mom, it was very hard for him to like come into an area where he wasn't allowed to have guns, as my mom wouldn't let him. However, she let him have one for protection, as he works in downtown Los Angeles at night. So he's allowed one in the house, and as my mom hated it at first, she sees that like he doesn't use it, he only has it for protection, and she knows that he's not going to use it, as he's a really good guy. But she knows, it's still like kind of iffy with her, as like she doesn't like guns at all due to like her having children and seeing all these like guns and shootings happening. So my second example is going to be the school shootings, and we see that many times. Like a person on the news is like said like, oh, this person is mentally ill, they have something wrong with them. Like it's not their fault that they're like this. But a better way to fix this would be to like have stricter laws for being able to like obtain a gun. So I would say that like they would have to have more background check information and able to get one. And it shows that if the person was seen as more mentally stable and more like trustworthy and not having any problems in their history, past history, then they might as well be able to have a gun like for protection, as long as like they're not having it, like as long as them themselves, like their identity isn't being questioned. So in conclusion, I believe that guns don't kill people, people do. And thank you.
All right, well, the structural things are pretty good. There's an organization. You've got signposts in the body of the speech. Sometimes the transitions are a little bit clunky, but we do know what your purpose statement is. At the conclusion of the speech, you come back to that purpose statement and agree with the quote. So you're doing a good job from the mechanical point of view on the speech part. You could probably use a little bit more detail and finessing on the second and the third points that you're going to develop, because there really doesn't seem to be a lot other than just having thought of those particular points. You've got more detail on your first point, which was easier for you to come up with because you're talking about a personal reference. Presentation issues, your vocals are pretty solid, you project reasonably well. Your facial expression, you do look engaged. Your eye contact, you have a tendency to look at the audience. Sometimes I got the feeling that you're looking through us a little bit, kind of like thinking while you're talking to us, and instead of engaging. But you regularly look up and you try to connect with the audience. I think you could probably do a little bit better job. If this is a hard thing to pick out, sometimes I say these things and people have no idea what I'm talking about. Watch the video and see if you can see what it is that I'm talking about when I say something like that, because it's not like you aren't looking at us, but it's sometimes that, like I said, it feels like I'm being looked through. Let me see. Oh, your anxiety's coming out in your hands all over the place, and you probably know you're pulling your sleeves down around your hands. You're constantly washing your hands, gesture sort of thing, and then you pull the sleeves up again, like I'm going to use those to dry. That's a little bit problematic. That's a distraction, and that's clearly your anxiety coming out there. All right.